Hey, welcome everybody to this radio channel, and this is my quick look at the solar activity and the propagation to expect this week on the bands. So we have right now two main sunspots here on the sun. They are, of course, pretty quiet, so there have not been really a lot of flares coming out of this. Small little flares usually, and basically not a lot of probability of anything going on with the sun, but you never know. These things are sometimes a little unpredictable, so it happens that we have flares that might actually show up at some point on even sunspots that don't look like they are threatening. Solar flux around the 80 mark. Will probably stay around the 80 mark this week as these sunspots cross the surface. We will see if there's any other sunspots coming. Of course, last week we were part of the week under the influence of a coronal hole, which is basically a place on the sun where the solar wind is actually escaping. So basically we are moving. You see this dark area here? This is coronal holes. And these are surrounding magnetic, energy basically of the magnetic fields of the different spots. So basically what's going to happen is that we will and should have more quiet conditions this week with geomagnetic storming probably not being a problem for the week ahead. Of course, we are at a period of time where there's even a little wind gust from the solar wind can trigger geomagnetic storms because of the equinox. For some reason, Earth is easier to trigger geomagnetic fields, but geomagnetic storms, sorry. But technically, I think that for the next few hours and the next few days, we should see pretty quiet conditions. We should see an increase in the higher band frequencies that propagate. I was checking out, for example, yesterday some of the frequencies. I could hear WWV on 25 megahertz, and I've seen some people report that they've heard a few signals on the 10-meter band. So it shows you that even the solar flux is not super high. It's high enough to support even up to the 10-meter band. So don't hesitate to go up during the daytime. But once the sun sets, of course, with such a low solar flux, you, of course, will notice very rapidly that the maximum usable frequency actually moves down very, very quickly. So expect interesting conditions. I think it's going to be a nice week for propagation and for DXing of signals. If anything, yesterday, if October 1st, yesterday, Sunday, was one of the indications of this week. I can tell you one thing is that there was really amazing propagation yesterday. So check out the bands, amateur bands also. And, do some DXing if you can. I think it's going to be interesting. This morning I was tuning around just a little bit and noticed that there's a lot of Asian signals around 1100, 1200 UTC on the 31 and 25 meter bands. So I think this is an interesting time for propagation, and check out the bands as this week until, unless there's something major happening, should be a quiet week for shortwave radio propagation. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching our videos.